Peter, can you identify maybe a couple of folks out there who might be listening, what their situation might be, those who might be in need of your services?
I can, Brian, but let me remind you that although we like to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, if you're calling outside of business hours, sometimes we take a Sunday off during tax season.
That's right, folks. As we get closer to April 15th, maybe we'll get somebody in there on a Sunday afternoon. Or, heck, I'll go sit there through the night. I could use the money.
There's a great idea.
You know my situation. I'll do anything for $20 these days. No, so Peter, what are you seeing in the office?
Well, the point I was trying to make is you can go to taxresolutioninstitute.com. That it's taxresolutioninstitute.com.
And there's a wealth of information on the website and even more fun interviews with us right there at taxresolutioninstitute.com.
You can also email us, and we will get back to you even on a weekend.
Or Monday morning, of course. It's 800-658-7590.
Exactly. So let me give you an example. I had a mortgage broker come into the office. It was referred by a bankruptcy attorney. And he said she owes $1 million in taxes. And this girl walks into my office. She's 34 years old. And I'm looking and wondering, how is it possible that you can owe $1 million in taxes? Well, she was what they called a warehouse mortgage broker, meaning that she went to my little mortgage broker clients and said, if you originate loans with us, this is back in the heyday here a few years ago, that we'll give you a little piece of each of the loans. Her Bear Stearns, whomever she worked for at the time, had that deal. So she was making $1 million, $1.5 million a year on a 1099. No estimated tax payments, no withholding taxes. Well, as you know, what happened in the mortgage industry,
right.
She's out of a job.
Sure.
So she'll never make $1 million or $1.5 million again. Of course, she spent all the money and had no money to pay the taxes. Well, what we did was we put her in CNC status, currently non-collectible status, because her hand called for it.
And what does that mean? It sounds like it's a shelter. It protects you, basically, to be in CNC status.
Well, yes, it prevents the IRS. It's an agreement with the IRS to leave the taxpayer alone until the situation gets better. What people don't seem to understand, and should, is that there's no debtor's prison for not paying your taxes. If you file your taxes and you legitimately can't pay, then the IRS will still leave you enough money for a roof over your head, food and clothing, an automobile to drive up to $495 a month.
Am I supposed to like them now, Peter?
And, well, you can like them a little better. In fact, what happened in this situation is that 3 years went by, the taxes aged, and the debt, which was $1 million and change, went up about $300,000 or $400,000 with the interest and penalties. And we did a Chapter 7. And she owes no taxes and is getting on with her life and her 3 kids and mother and so on and so forth that she's supporting.
That is remarkable. And serious, I don't want to get schmaltzy, but that's got to make you feel good.
Well, on the one hand, of course it does, because that's what we do. On the other hand, we all pay our taxes, and to watch somebody walk away from $1 million tax liability sometimes upsets people, especially the revenue officers at the IRS.
You are listening to The Tax Show. I'm Brian Whitman from The Morning Answer, right here on The Answer. Peter Stephan, right here from the Tax Resolution Institute. And Jim Felton from Greenberg and Bass. We're here every Sunday at this time. Let me give you the number. Give them a call Monday morning. Leave a message. 800-658-7590. That's the number at the Tax Resolution Institute. You can also check out the website, taxresolutioninstitute.com. But call them, talk to them about the situation. If, like me, you received a letter from California Franchise Tax Board or the Fed sent you a letter, 800-658-7590.